Hello YouTube, it's Darthsteve333 here again with another pickups video. Quite soon after the last one. Thought it was time to basically film another one because I'm going to have a bit of a tidy up this weekend, today being Friday. So by tidy up I just mean obviously put things away, maybe rejig things a bit so certain games are more accessible. Got a bit more room to swing a cat, so to speak. So yeah, now's the time to do a video. So where do I begin? Mainly a bit of shop stuff, bit of car boot pickups. Car boots have been a bit average recently. I've found this year more than ever there seem to be numerous amounts of people sort of going around the car boots just scooping up all the games, you know, really early. So you know, it leaves very little, or I've found personally this year it's left very little for someone who's collecting, so it does discourage you a little bit. So anyway, I've still managed to pick up some decent things, but obviously I think maybe the days of finding real bargains at car boots may be if not over, certainly numbered. So anyway, I'll crack on. First thing to show you is something I picked up yesterday from a charity shop. It's a PS3 game. It's Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. $1.95. I may keep it, I may trade it on. Not yet decided. I do have it for the 360, so it's a choice between sort of keeping one or the other. Anyway, got that. Got a couple of car boot finds here. It's going to be very, very haphazard because I've not really kept them in any sort of order. So some stuff I'll remember as I go along, others not. So I do know that these two came from car boots. In fact, one of them I've shown you before. This one is Armored Core 5. I think that cost me either £1 or 50p. The cover's a bit scuffed up there, but acceptable, and it's an Armored Core game, a mech game, so I do like those. Can't recall if I've shown you these ones previous, so I'll whiz through them. Elder Scrolls Skyrim, which I picked up mainly because it's got a nice map in there, which I don't actually have. I don't know if this might have come out of a collector's edition perhaps. I can't recall the normal map being like that. Anyway, I'll hold on to the map unless I've already got one like it. I'm sure mine was sort of, you know, sort of just normal papery stuff. Paper. Anyway, got that. That was about £1, I think. As was this Dirt 3, which I think I might have shown you before. Similarly, Call of Duty Black Ops. I think I might have shown you that previous as well. These ones, again, these I haven't shown you. Got a boxed Wii Sports, another copy of Jet Set Radio Future and Sega GT 2002. Obviously no sleeve for that because it was a pack-in. A partially complete copy of Grand Theft Auto 5 because I did buy one with one of the two discs was knackered, and despite my best efforts I just couldn't get it working. So I've got a sneaking suspicion, because I haven't checked yet, that this is actually yet another install disc when I actually want a play disc, but it was 50p I think, so I thought it's worth it for the box and the instructions and one disc, even if it is one I've already got. And this one I haven't actually got, so this will be staying in my collection. This is Heroes Over Europe for the 360. I do like me flight games. So yeah, there are a few haphazard finds. What shall I show you next? I'll show you these next. There's a game shop which I've picked up a few things from before, and I went up there on the weekend just gone. Been meaning to go in for weeks, but never quite got round to it. Anyway, last weekend went in there. The normal chap that is in there wasn't. It was his mum actually looking after the shop for him, and the general quality of games in there had sort of not plummeted, but generally sort of gone downhill quite a lot, which sort of gave me a bit of a sinking feeling. I still found a few bits which I'll show you in a mo, but whilst I was paying for them, or whilst the lads' mum was digging out the discs and so forth, she mentioned that the guy's sort of closing the shop within the next week or two, which is a real shame. Problem is, it's a little off the beaten track, and there's not enough footfall. You know, they only generally get people there at weekends, and it's not perhaps the best situated store. So I'll probably take a look up there this weekend, because she did say, you know, I think this weekend coming and the weekend after, the last couple, that the shop's going to be open. So he's probably going to be reducing a fair number of things. So I'll nip up there, see if there's any bargains. Feels a bit, how best to describe it, not dirty, but it almost feels a bit wrong, because I like to support these local places if I can, because obviously, you know, they're selling things that I'm interested in buying, and I'd much rather go into a bricks and mortar store and sort of buy off someone who basically started the business through collecting himself. So I'd like, you know, I prefer to support those sort of guys rather than buying something off Facebook maybe, or off eBay, which, you know, 9 times out of 10 is likely to have been something picked up at a car boot and sold on at an outrageous profit, sort of, you know, referring back to what I was on about earlier. Anyway, all supposition, I suppose, on my part, but anyway, I picked up a few bits. This one I've been meaning to get for a while, probably overpaid. It was a £5, loose cart. It's Super Golf for the SNES, and the reason I got that was I saw it probably 3 or 4 visits ago, and thought, oh, I must get that if it's still there, because I've actually got the empty box and the manual for it. So to complete the game, if you like, I've actually got the cartridge now. So there we go. Also saw these, which had been reduced from about £7 each, or £5 and £7, and I don't actually have them for the Saturn. It's Virtua Fighter, nice condition. Try and show you without everything falling out. That was reduced to £2.99, as was Virtua Fighter 2. The case is a little manky. Well, not manky, it just doesn't close properly, but then it's a Saturn case. Virtua Fighter 2, and let's see if I can show you this one in similar fashion. There it is. So yeah, I was pleased to get them, and £2.99, it would have been rude not to, basically. So, you know, I've been meaning to get them for a while. And the last thing was one of only a small selection of Dreamcast games that he got left. One that I hadn't got, it was in a bit of a battered case, so I've actually swapped it out with one of my spare Dreamcast games, and it looks a fair bit better. It's Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, including Eagle Watch missions, so that's another one off the Dreamcast list. So as I say, quite sad to be seeing that place go. It's been quite nice having somewhere in my hometown sell retro games, and I'll be sad to see it close. Back to the random pickups. This was from the recycle centre. It's a PS3 remote. The battery compartment had one leaking battery in it, so it was a bit of a gamble. It was £1. Took it home, didn't work immediately. Took it apart, which you might be able to see. The only way to get these open is to take a screw out the back, and basically you have to prise it open. There's like little clips around the side, so it makes a little bit of a mess of it, but anyway, got it apart. Quite pleased to find that the battery contacts are entirely separate from the circuit board, which is up there really, and you can actually take out the contacts themselves. So basically neutralise the acid on that, cleaned it up, put it all back together, and it works. So not bad for £1. I'm quite happy. So moving on, next few things are random bits and bobs again. This was £1 at the car boot last weekend. It's an American version of Sonic Rush, which will work in my normal DS. this was also a last Saturday morning crap car boot pickup. It was War Games Defcon 1, and I don't know what someone's done to this case, but obviously I'm going to swap it out with with a better one, because I really don't know what's happened to that, whether it's gotten too hot somewhere or what, but it's a bloody mess. But I've got enough spare PS1 cases to sort that out, so that will be upgraded soon. A dusty copy of Mortal Kombat Trilogy, which I'm wiping on the carpet, not really doing a lot. Mortal Kombat Trilogy Platinum Edition, that was £1 or 50p. And then these two, which I got, again this was last weekend, this was a 50p game, Roadkill. There were some other PS2 games. The guy said, what was it, I think there was some sort of an offer on, but the life of me I can't remember. No, I tell a lie, no this wasn't. This was just a single game on its own, and I thought, oh, it looks a bit like it could be some sort of Twisted Metal type of game, maybe. It's more like Midway anyway. It looks quite interesting. So don't know if you can see the back there. Anyway, that was 50p. I remember that. And this is what I was thinking of when I was saying about there was an offer for, you know, I think it was £2 each or 3 for a £5. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything else to go with it to sort of have another 2 games for a £5 essentially. But I was pleased to pick this up because I haven't seen it for a while. Earth Defence Force 2017. I've got one of the sequels, Insect Armageddon, but not this one. So quite happy to get that for £2. Next, a couple of weekends ago, yes, got a few bits from one of these, I think it was a cash converters. Got these for first. Got a very battered steelbook of Tekken Tag Tournament 2 for 360. I'm going to attempt to repair the case on that. So there we go. That was £1. Got this from. That's right. These were the other 2 purchases from there. Excuse me. There's a cat in the way. A couple of Wii U games which I haven't bought for a while. I've got Resident Evil Revelations, which I was quite pleased to get. Another Resident Evil game to add to the collection. I do have it for the 3DS, but I thought it'd be nice to get it for the Wii U. I thought it might be interesting on the controller. I've not tried it yet. And this one I've been meaning to get for ages, because I do have a little bit of a soft spot for that fella there. Always used to race as him in the original Super Mario Kart. You'd probably guess what it is. It's Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. So I've watched a few gameplay videos of that, and I thought that looks really good fun. So yeah, pleased to have that. I think they were, what was it? I think this was $14.99 and this was $7.99. So not the cheapest, but not the most expensive either. So I thought they were decent price to pick them up for. Popped into a CEX. Got this with some credit I'd built up. It's Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga, which for years I thought I had. I think I must have had it in Game Collection version 1. But anyway, found out obviously recently I haven't, so there it is, complete. Obviously I had a look at that before I picked it up and took it away. That was £7, I think. Oh, excuse me, that's the cat having a cough. It's all go here today. Back to some more random bits and bobs. That's right. This is in a normal DVD case because, I'll show you this in 2 parts. Basically, World Championship Snooker was in a good PS1 case. I do have it already. It's you know, in not bad condition. It's got the manual, it's got the disc. But I've took them out of there because what was in this DVD case originally was this, Need for Speed, which I thought, obviously as I don't have already, would benefit from a case upgrade. So essentially I've taken it out of the snooker case, put it in this one. It's not perfect because obviously the hologram's in the wrong place. I think the hologram should be on the back for this, but it's tidied it up anyway for the meantime, and that makes me happy enough. Yes, whilst I was out on that little expedition, found a this for 50p? I think it was 50p. No, it was £1.50. And still to this day not quite sure why I got it. I thought it might be interesting. Not had a go on it yet. It's Tamagotchi Connection Corner Shop 2, which I think is practically worth what I paid for it anyway. It's got to be worth a little tinker on and see if it's any good. But the main things that I picked up from that particular charity shop were 50p each, and I was very surprised to see them. There was some games for a handheld system that's, well, generally I don't think I've ever seen in a charity shop before. So as I say, 50p each. They're Game Gear games, and I got the Chess Master, Sonic 2, Haley or Halley Wars, Slider, Ninja Gaiden, and two what should we say, hockey carts, a Game Gear 21-in-1 cart, which amongst other things has got Sonic, Spy vs Spy, Super Tetris, Teddy Boy, Action Boy, various bits and bobs on there. 50p, couldn't resist it. And this one, which I've not actually tried yet because I've got to dig my Game Gear out to, or my good Game Gear out to take a look. Super 16-in-1 with a copy, with a picture of Street Fighter 2 on it. Now I thought when I saw this, I can't even remember if there was a Game Gear version of Street Fighter 2. I'm not really convinced that there was. So, like I say, I'm looking forward to giving that a try. See what is actually on there. Probably 16 different variants of Sonic, but you know, 50p, can't grumble. This was from a car boot. This was £1. WWF Warzone. Now I did have this not too long ago, and I actually traded it in and regretted doing so almost instantly. This and another couple of N64 wrestling games, loose cartridges. I think I traded them in to get some credit to buy some other stuff, and like I say, regretted it straight away because I think N64 wrestling games are meant to be pretty decent. So you know, I was pleased to find that for £1 anyway. What else do we have here? This was from a charity shop about 3 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. Again, there's been a bit of how would you describe it? A bit of case transplantation. Found two GameCube games. One of them was Spider-Man 2, which I do have already. No instructions, just the disc. Disc is in pretty reasonable condition. But basically I bought it for the case, which has been put onto this, or basically used for this particular game, which is Simpsons Hit and Run, which I do have on the PS2, and I think might even have for the Xbox as well. But this seems to be sort of rising in value for the GameCube. So to find it for, I think it was $1.99, this in the Spider-Man 2 game, I was quite happy with that. So obviously this goes into the collection, Simpsons Hit and Run, and as I say, it's in a fairly decent case. So yeah, quite happy with that. So right, nearly already, you'll be pleased to hear probably, at the end of this little pickups video. This is another loose, or miscellaneous find. This was 50p. It's a swanky mouse mat with a hair on it, but yeah, it's a Razer Vespula mouse mat. 50p. I'll pick that up. You can never have too many mouse mats. And this is a hard one with a sort of like a smooth edge, and on the reverse like a more roughened surface. So yeah, I thought that was worth picking up for 50p. So that brings me to the last pickups really, and these were quite interesting. I saw all of these suddenly appear in one of these sort of second-hand type places, like I say, cash converter-esque places. Like I say, its own entity, not a cash generator, it's not a cash converters, but that sort of thing. So anyway, I'll tell you, well, I'll show you what the main part of the pickup was in a minute. But I went in there on 3 different days, sort of picking up a few games each time. And on the last occasion I went in there, I found, to my surprise, an N64 game for 99p. I don't think it's anything to particularly shout about, but it's Armorines, which I've never played, so I picked that up. So onto why I returned there 3 times and why I made 3 separate purchases of a number of a certain system's games. They were basically PSP games. Someone had come in and basically traded in his what looked to be his entire PSP collection. So most of these, the vast majority of these, I don't actually have. So like I say, I went in there on 3 different trips. First trip I picked up the ones I wanted the most. Next trip I sort of thought, yeah, there's some more there that either I've heard good things about or watched videos on where people have recommended the games. And the third trip was probably picking up a couple of improvements to my own sort of collection. I've got a few platinums on the PSP, which have now, or can now be sort of swapped out with black labels, if you like. So right, without any further ado, there's a fair number of them. I'll start off with Coded Arms Contagion, Dead or Alive Paradise, which is, as far as I understand it, fairly sought after, but yeah, the actual game itself is sort of part beach volleyball, part Pervin program. Anyway, I thought, well, I don't see that very often, so I thought I'll pick it up. These are all 99p, as I say, so pretty good. And there was a bit of a bonus to that, which I'll tell you towards the end. Dissidia Final Fantasy, Dragoneer's Aria, or Area, Dungeon Explorer. Most of these are complete in very good condition with manuals as well. I think there's about 3 without manuals. God of War Chains of Olympus, which I do have, but I know that my existing copies are platinum, so that's good. Lego Batman, Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Star Wars 2, Lord of the Rings Tactics, Mac Modified Air Combat Heroes, Pursuit Force and Pursuit Force Extreme Justice, which I understand are both pretty well rated. Certainly amongst other people I remember mentioning those is that Metal Jesus chap. He seems to rate them very highly, so yeah, give them a go soon. Right, onto the second stack, or second of 2 stacks I should say, just so that you don't turn off through boredom. Resistance Retribution, Secret Agent Clank, Star Wars Lethal Alliance, Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron, Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron, Star Wars The Force Unleashed, Star Wars The Clone Wars Republic Heroes. Both the Siphon Filter games, so Siphon Filter Dark Mirror and Siphon Filter Logan Shadow. SWAT Target Liberty even. Valkyrie Profile Lenith. and Cyanide Resurrection. So as I say, they were all 99p each, which I thought was a good enough deal to start with, but the shop in question had actually got a thing, if you buy something they give you your stuff in a carrier bag, which I might add doesn't cost 5p either, bonus. But yeah, they put a little flyer in there, if you like, and on the bottom of it said 20% off any purchase. So when I went back the second and third times, I made use of it. I sort of checked first. I says, am I right in thinking this actually applies to anything? And they said, yeah. So yeah, it actually sort of makes these less than 99p each, which I thought was an absolute bloody bargain, to be fair to you. So that is pretty much everything from the last 2-3 weeks or so. One thing which has sprung to mind, which was another car boot pickup. This was a loose disc, which I got for 50p. The guy said, I've got no idea if it works or not because I don't have the system to test it on. So I wouldn't normally do it, but it's a game for the Saturn that I don't have, and it's Die Hard Trilogy, and I'm very happy to say that an evening's worth of testing took place and it works fine. So yeah, very pleased with that as well. So yeah, that is about everything. I don't think there's anything else that I've forgotten to tell you about. Thanks as always to everyone that's subscribed and everyone that's watched the videos, everyone that comments. Really appreciate it. As you can see, I've moved back to the conventional background. The green screen was perhaps an idea before its time. It might be something I return to in the winter when lighting is poorer, but certainly with the summer evenings I can get a bit more sort of natural light coming in, and it's a bit easier to film. Plus with green screen you have to film a background, you have to film a foreground, putting the videos together, editing them and so on is a bit tricky, and it takes twice as long. So yeah, I'll probably be doing this for the foreseeable future. When I say this, I mean obviously this behind me, and not sort of cutting me throat. That would be probably not the sort of video you want to watch. Anyway, I'm gambling now. So yeah, as I say, thanks to everyone that keeps on watching, and thanks to everyone that subscribes. It'll probably be 2 or 3 weeks before I upload another video. So again, the much anticipated, or possibly not at all anticipated, gameplay capture with the HD PVR box hasn't quite materialised yet. I keep sort of putting off starting playing Doom on the PS4 because I don't want to do that without trying to record my first impressions on this PVR thing. It will happen, but I'm not quite sure when. As I say, this weekend I'm doing a bit of tidying, so once that's done it might give me a clear enough conscience to sort of settle into setting that up and obviously blasting away at a new game. So anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.